No matter from which country you're coming from, no matter from which culture somebody is coming from. This whole life is based on the decisions you are taking. Some people take that type of decision, which leads to a consequence. Other people maybe take better decisions, which leads to another consequence. Ultimately, it's about the decisions.
One of the most asked questions that people wanted to know about Master Shi Heng Yi and the Shaolin Temple Europe is what goes on inside the temple walls. Today, we go to the Shaolin Temple Europe and meet with Master Shi Heng Yi to ask him exactly that. Today's video was made possible with mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the t-shirts with the link in the description that allows us to be able to fly all around the world to film these projects for you. So all the profits from the website go back into making this possible. But before that, let's dive into this amazing video with Master Shi Heng Yi and the Shaolin Temple Europe. Also, please go support Master Shi Heng Yi at shaolin.online. This is the question I always start with. Now, I think many people on the channel probably know who you are, but just introduce yourself and what you do.
Yes, so my name is Shi Heng Yi. I am actually the leading headmaster of the Shaolin Temple Europe, which is a Buddhist monastery located here in Otterberg, Germany. And we are an organization established in 1996. Took a long time to get where we are nowadays. And in that mission, in our organization, we are embedding a lot of so-called Shaolin practices because we feel that a lot that is hidden, let's say, or a lot that these methods inhabit can still be very, very useful for many different people nowadays if they would be properly introduced into these methods. And leading headmaster, it is called like this because this monastery, we have more than just one master, which means that there are several of us. But if there is something practically wise that needs to be decided, what are we going to teach our disciples this year? Which type of methods need some improvement? So these are like questions when everybody has the same opinion, it's not a problem. If we need to go for one direction, then I have something to say. Besides that, it doesn't really matter. Yes. So that means at the same time of being one of the masters inside this organization, it means that we are having so-called disciples, or at a later stage also called novices. These are mainly young people that are coming at an early age, and we are trying to let them experience and feel as close as possible how it actually is to really live this type of monastic lifestyle in the first year and the first second years, just like as an introduction. So they get to know, so how is it if I wake up every day almost at the same time? How is it when the eating times, the training times, the lesson times, the theory times, when it always takes place in the same way, in the same structure? And the idea is that I can already feel right now, in order to one day run or lead or even work for this type of organization. What I mean is this Shaolin Temple, for example. It's going to be very, very difficult to ever find somebody who needs to be paid to do this type of job. Because I think it's like when you are, that's maybe a good picture. Sometimes maybe you have a hobby. You like to screw on cars, maybe you like to screw on motorcycles, no matter what it is. Whatever you build up with your own hands, it only has a certain type of value for yourself. So that means some, let's say, collectors I can understand if they are already afraid. Oh, but where am I going to give all of these things to that I have collected for so many years? Because it means so much to me. Yeah, it's very difficult to find somebody that like gives the same value to these things like you maybe do. And the reason is you only start to build up a connection, a close connection to something, whatever it is, if you are the one taking care of it like your own baby, like it would be your own flesh and blood. So that also means like would never be possible somebody would take care about your business, the Mulligan brothers, if it's not a Mulligan. It's impossible. You need to grow into certain areas with a certain mindset to it. Meaning, if it's your child at the same time, you have no choice. If the child is sick, you need to take care of it, no matter what. There is like no possibility even to, let's say, find an excuse why and how not to. It's just out of question. So, and in the same way, it means for one person, or maybe even more person, to one day continue this type of work that we are doing, that I am doing right now. I need somebody who is with flesh and blood inside this whole way of understanding how we wake up, why we wake up, how to give purpose to the things that you are doing. And all of this without any type of emphasis. How should the money come in? Yeah? Which now automatically means that all the disciples, all the novices, all the master students that at the moment, for example, stay with me inside this monastery, they don't need to take any care of how they need to, or where to stay, how to eat, what to eat, if they have a place over their head in the evening. This is all not a problem. Because this is the initial idea about the monastery. This is why if you look back in ancient times, monasteries mostly were surrounded by a wall. Sometimes you can, of course, it really depends on with what type of perspective you're looking at this wall. Sometimes you can say, yeah, you have such a great life inside the monastery because you are isolated from the rest. This is one way of how you can see these things. The other thing is that inside these walls, it's a protected ground. It's a protected ground that something within these walls is able to develop, which with the influences that nowadays exist, makes it very, very difficult sometimes to grow. So that means in order to bring something out of the human, I think it is sometimes necessary to really place close attention to where are you putting that human, in what type of circumstances. Because if you want something specific to grow, you cannot risk to, let's say, expose this person in the beginning of the years to any toxic environment. And so this is why sometimes we have these closed walls, which means nothing comes in and nothing goes out. What is inside the walls stays inside the walls. And sometimes this is necessary in order to cultivate something that at a later point in time is going to become something very, very precious. And you can really say that it is especially this amount of time that these young people are spending and facing themselves day in, day out. This is, let's say, one of the methods that maybe later on we will also talk about more. But this is one of the main emphasis. You are cut off from the television outside, or from all the external media, or all from the entertainment that is existing in the outside world. And it's not about entertainment or what this world nowadays is offering that it is bad. Nothing of everything I say, nothing is ultimately good and nothing is ultimately bad. What everything has is consequence. This is the way how, when I'm looking out in the world, if I look onto actions of people, if I look what are people talking about, what are people doing, what I'm looking for is what's the consequence of it. It's not the initial thought to say this is bad and this is good and this is how it's supposed to be, or like that. It's not in my field of influence, and it's also not my obligation to do such things. The main idea why I would like to spread all of these things out is that everybody has somewhere his possibilities where he can self-express himself in a certain way. It's completely free as what do you see yourself, as what would you like to express yourself, and with that expression of yourself, how would you like, or maybe don't you like, to contribute to the world. It's completely up to you. It's just that every type of expression bears a consequence. It can bear a consequence for you personally, but it can also bear a consequence for people surrounding you, maybe your family, maybe even the people that you are on a daily basis are surrounded with in general. So, and within this field of you can become a lot. So what will you ultimately become? The Shaolin disciples, the Shaolin novices, the Shaolin master students, they already have some type of framework, let's say, where they can now just witness and just live this type of life and see, is that something where you could see yourself walking through this lifetime and being a part of this type of expression. Expression of what? Of the spirit, of the culture, of the way of thinking, the way of training, that since 1,500 years is an integral part of what we nowadays call the Shaolin teachings. And that means, for example, what is it that you need as a Shaolin disciple, as a Shaolin practitioner? You need physical training, you need mental training. That is the very beginning. This is the starting point. So, if you want to get introduced into Shaolin, what is it that you're going to learn? You are going to learn that your body is important just as your mind is important. And based on this very basic idea, now it starts. Now somebody maybe ask, okay, now, yes, I want to develop the mind, how should I do it? And then, in the Shaolin Temple, traditionally we are teaching Buddhist teachings, Confucianist teachings, and Taoist teachings. So 3, let's say, teachings aiming in the development of the mind. So you are reading theories, you are reading essays, you are reading different texts, maybe some of them describing the life of one of these persons, meaning Buddha, or maybe Lao Tzu, or maybe Confucius. Yeah? By putting yourself into the skin of those personalities, you maybe or maybe not, get a glimpse of, okay, so this is how they were living. This is the virtues that they inhabited in themselves, why they are behaving in this and that way. These were some type of virtues that they were abiding to, that they kept as a guideline in their daily life. That is like where the theory part, in a way, tries to already offer you something. Offer you something because at the end of the day, it's still up to you to decide whether you take what you have observed there as something that you think is useful for you. Or if you just say, I cannot relate to it, I don't know what it means, so it's not relevant for me. This is like in terms of theoretical aspects. And then at the same time, we have the physical practice, which means it is the Kung Fu training, it is the Tai Chi training, and it's the Qigong training. And practical means because by doing some type of practice, you get answers. Sometimes it's answers you didn't ask, but nevertheless, the important part is that through the practice, there is some type of information and some type of knowledge being transmitted to you along the way of practice that will never, ever come in this lifetime if you would only read books. The knowledge from the practical, the knowledge from the theoretical, this afterwards you take. What it means is you have a field of knowledge, you have an area that now, at any time wherever you are going in this lifetime, you are able to access it. And when are these times to access it? It is times when you are being placed in a situation where you need to take a decision, for example. No matter from which country you're coming from, no matter from which culture somebody is coming from, this whole life is based on the decisions you are taking. Some people take that type of decision, which leads to a consequence. Other people maybe take better decisions, which leads to another consequence. Ultimately, it's about the decisions. But how come sometimes people are confronted with the same situation, but they take completely different approaches, they take completely different decisions? It is because one of them has more or the other one has less access to knowledge, to experience than the other one. So what all of this theoretical learning, practical learning, what all of this is supposed to offer to you is just a whole bandwidth of solutions, which we think is very good to have, walking through this lifetime, not only as a martial artist. It doesn't matter from where you come from. The more possibilities you can access, the better for you. This is like one of the key messages, let's say. Yeah. And so everything that I talked about right now or tried to introduce, this is also a part of the teachings that we are giving on to our disciples, to our novices or our master students that are staying with us here in this Shaolin Temple.
Thank you so much to the Shaolin Temple Europe for making this possible. Thank you to you guys for making this possible. Everybody who's been over to mulliganbrothers.com to buy the t-shirts, all the profits will go back into making this content. And everybody who clicked the join button down below, we have some new exclusive content coming for you guys. So thank you so much to everybody. As always, we cannot thank you enough for your support on all our social medias, on YouTube, for commenting, for liking, for subscribing, and hitting that notification bell as well. So thank you to everybody. You are making this possible for us. But we want to ask you a question. Who do you want to see next? Please hit me up on Instagram at Jordan Mulligan Brother or at Mulligan Brothers and drop a comment down below. Who is the person that you want to see us interview next? We need more people involved in this. We need more messages, more inspiration, more stories, more teachings, more lessons, whatever it is. If you think somebody's appropriate for that, drop it down below. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.